You can unmute yourself and turn on your video.
Okay, for the record, this is position number 23 on my calendar today, State of Georgia versus Josquez Herschel Durant. Mr. Durant is charged with warrant number 2022 CW 54356 with committing the offense of aggravated assault. He's charged in warrant number 2022 CW 54357 with committing the offense of criminal damage to property in the first degree. He's charged in warrant number 2022 CW 54358 with committing the offense of theft by taking. And finally, he's charged in warrant number 2022 WA 14799 with committing the offense of loitering or prowling. Ms. Freeman.
Yes, Judge.
I know that these cases are normally broken up. Is this WA, is that connected to the CWs?
I believe it is, Judge. Let me double check. Let me see.
It has Officer Rollins down.
Well, let me see, because I don't have a copy of that warrant.
Do you know Mr. Rogers?
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I think it's, in a sense, yeah, it's related. It seems to all be about the same night. I think and the officer could probably spell it out a little better, but I think it's all related. It seems to be the basis that they use to detain them to investigate the warrants, kind of, I understand it. Seems to be how it happened.
Okay.
I figured because of the charge, it was related to it.
Okay. I just wanted to be certain. Mr. Durant is present in court here today. He's represented by counsel. The state is going to be represented by Ms. Freeman. Ms. Freeman, would you swear your witness in and present your case?
Thank you, Your Honor. Officer Rollins, would you raise your right hand? Do you swear and affirm that the testimony about provide in the matter of State of Georgia versus Josquez Durant will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please tell us your name and how you're employed.
My name is Justin Rollins, Officer Rollins, Clayton County Police Department.
How long have you worked with the Clayton County Police Department?
I've been with the Clayton County Police Department 1 year, 2 months.
Yes, sir. Were you working with the Clayton County Police Department on September 22nd of 2022?
I was.
On that particular day, were you dispatched to a firearm discharge call at 179 Indian Lake Drive?
That's affirmed.
Is that address, is that a house or a business?
That address is an entire apartment complex.
Okay. Did you go to a specific apartment number?
I did not. We heard that there were shots in the area, so I was the first officer there to make contact, but we didn't get a specific building at first.
When you arrived at the apartment complex, did you speak to any witnesses there?
So there was one gentleman. He was unfortunately never identified, but this gentleman came to the front of the complex from the back. He said that he ran. He seemed really disheveled. Basically, he said, "I'm scared for my life." There was somebody shooting in the back of the complex, and it was a small white vehicle, a little hatchback vehicle that sped through the complex, a white truck. They actually just went out as you came in. That was the vehicle that was shooting. So I immediately, I put him on hold for a second because I wanted to see if I could make contact with the suspected vehicle.
Were you able to make contact with that vehicle?
I did. I actually made a U-turn, came back out the complex, and there was a white hatchback matching the description sitting in the median area, like where you would make a turn either left or right. So it wasn't an actual lane. It was the left or right, like median area in the middle of the road.
How many people were in the vehicle?
At the time when I came out the complex, I wasn't sure how many people. I looked at the vehicle and it was just weird that they weren't moving, because normally traffic is flowing. Either somebody's coming in the complex or going out, but this vehicle was still outside the complex. And when I came out the complex, that's when the vehicle started to move and turn back into the complex.
Did you stop the vehicle?
I did. I called out the radio and I said, I've located a white vehicle matching the description of what the 911 callers gave. It's occupied 3 times, which in our terminology is there's 3 people in the vehicle. I did proceed to make a traffic stop on that vehicle. I can't remember the exact apartment, but it was pretty much a dead end. They pulled to the left and then went down towards some apartments, maybe like 115 or 112. I made a traffic stop on that vehicle and they pulled all the way into the last spot to the right-hand side.
Oh, hold on one second, Ms. Freeman and Officer Rollins. Someone just logged on and it just says iPhone. Would you please turn your camera on and identify yourself?
Okay, let me see here. Camera. I'm not that technologically savvy, so let's see here.
Okay, but can you identify yourself?
Okay. Sure, Judge, I'm not sure what I'm doing here.
Can you just identify yourself? I can hear you. Sir, what's your name?
Larry Richardson.
Mr. Richardson, why are you logging in?
Sir?
Why are you logging in?
I was sent an email with saying I was part of some Zoom call.
Mr. Richardson, are you with Atlanta Police Department?
I am.
Okay, so I would suggest next time, identifying yourself as Officer Richardson, and so we would know. But that case, we've already handled that case, and so we won't need you this morning. So thank you for holding on.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right.
Do you know how to press leave meeting? Okay, there we go.
I just removed him.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ms. Freeman.
I'm sorry, Officer Rollins, you were, I think I asked you if but you were telling us about the traffic stop on this vehicle.
Yeah, so the vehicle re-entered the complex, the same one that matched the description of what the gentleman said, as well as other 911 callers, the one that was discharging a firearm. They pulled to the left and then to the right and then to the back of I guess the end of a section of apartments, maybe in the 100s area. And that's when I proceeded to make a traffic stop, utilizing my emergency equipment. At that point, I was able to see how many males were in the vehicle because there was no tin on the vehicle. My radio to dispatch said I found the vehicle that matched the description. It was pointed out by someone and it was occupied by 3 Black males. At that point in time, I asked for, backup a few more units, and I just waited until I got those units.
When the units arrived, were you able to speak to any of the individuals in the car?
Yeah, so we made contact with the individuals in the vehicle, and I immediately asked them. I'm pretty straightforward, so I just asked them, what happened in the back of the complex? What's going on? We got a call of gunshots back there, people driving through the complex at high rates of speed. So what happened? And the guy was like, oh man, I'm just gonna be real with you, man. Man, nothing crazy really happened. And I'm like, okay, what happened? And then he didn't really want to give me the story. So what we did was we pulled each individual out the vehicle, not physically. We just, we asked them to step out. Driver, I believe, was Omari Liptrot. The passenger was Jaquez Durant. and the gentleman in the back was a Kobe Billings. So I made contact with Omari Liptrot. That was the driver. He was the one with the valid driver's license, so he was driving. I asked him, could I do an open hand pat just to, see if he had any weapons on him since they were, suspected of discharging a firearm. He said, go ahead. So I patted him down. I got to his right pant pocket and I felt something hard. So, I said, hey, just keep your hands on top of the vehicle. What's this? And he said, go ahead and find out. I'm like, okay. So I reach in the pocket. I pull out, I think it was a extended magazine for a Glock. I want to say Glock, let's see. It was a Glock 19 or Glock 17, but it was an extended magazine, 9mm capacity. I took that, put that on top of the vehicle. I asked him where the actual firearm was at, and he didn't really want to answer me. So we pulled the other individuals out the vehicle. We started asking them questions about what happened. They didn't really want to give us any answers. We asked them how they knew each other, what they were doing in the complex. And I said, hey, what were you doing in this complex? What was your reason for being here? Do any of you guys live here? Do you have a legitimate reason to be here at this time of night? Because right now, looking a lot like loitering, this is when people are in a place at a time in which, normal law-abiding citizens wouldn't be. And it's just not making sense that you guys are in here and then people are pointing out your vehicle and saying that a firearm was discharged, and then you have a magazine in your pocket. So, just be straight with me what's going on. So then he finally gives me some of the story, which was he went to a studio with a guy that he met on Instagram. The guy on Instagram got mad because somebody touched his phone. I don't know if they picked it up because all iPhones look the same. They're black with black cases. So maybe it got picked up by accident. That was the story he gave me. I said, okay, well, what happened after that? And he said, well, the guy said somebody took his camera and that nobody could leave until he finds out where his camera's at. And it's a pretty expensive camera. I said, okay, what happened after that? And he said that, well, the guy started shooting at us. I said, okay, did you shoot back? He said, no, we didn't shoot back. We all ran. We got in the car. We left. I said, okay. Question the other ones individually. I think we detained the driver, Omari Liptrot, at that point and put him in the back of a squad car. We started digging a little bit more, weren't able to get a whole lot, but we did have the fact that none of them knew the address to the studio. None of them initially said that they were at the studio. They didn't know this guy's name. They all act like they didn't know each other and they had no relation to each other. They were just like, oh, that's my guy, Boo Boo or something. They literally act like they didn't know each other at all. So we said, okay, well, at this point, you're going to be arrested for loitering. For the driver, because he had that gun, which we eventually found to be in the glove box of the vehicle. One of the officers smelled the gun. They checked it out, and it smelled like it had been recently shot. That's based off of his knowledge, training, and experience. He's been dealing with guns a long time. So he smelled the gun. He checked it out. He said, "This smells like it's been shot recently." And the guy said, "Oh, I shot the gun, but it was earlier today, and it was at a friend's house. My friend, they got mad land, a lot of land at their house. So I shot it earlier." And we said, "You don't mean like earlier, like?"
Also, let me stop you for a minute. Who when you're saying that he said this, are you referring to Amari Lipton at this time?
Amari is the one who said that he shot the gun earlier that day. That's the one who said he shot the gun earlier that day.
Okay, is he also the one who gave you the information that you had before about this producer and the person shooting at them?
He was the initial person that confirmed that. We did get that out of Jaquez and Kobe later in questioning, but he was the initial person who finally disclosed that they were supposedly at a studio.
And where exactly was the gun located?
So the actual gun was located in the glove box on the passenger side, which was in front of Jaquez Durant's seat.
Okay. When Jaquez Durant made a statement, what information was he able to provide to you?
So when we talked to Jaquez Durant, he basically said that he had nothing to do with it, and he didn't shoot the gun. He didn't get into a shootout. He basically was just with them, and he didn't really know them like that. That's basically what he told us. He didn't disclose anything further.
Were you and the other officers able to locate any shell casings?
We did. We located one shell casing, one spent shell casing on the driver's side in the crease of the floorboard. And then we located, or the other officers located 4 more shell casings in front of a unit, which we believe to be the studio that they were at.
Were all of these from the same weapon that was located in the car?
We believe so, yes. All 9mm shell casings.
Were you able to talk to any of the witnesses about what happened?
So another officer the next day, that's why the charges kind of like lead into more charges. The person whose house they shot at, the studio, well, let me backtrack first. There was a camera located in the vehicle that he mentioned first. He said, you know, the guy said that we stole his camera. When we were about to impound the vehicle, I saw the camera on the passenger floorboard where Jaquez Durant was sitting. And I said, let's ask them about this camera. And if none of them come up with a receipt or an idea where this camera came from or any information, we're gonna go ahead and place it in a safekeeping, and whoever actually owns it can come and pick it up. So that's what we do with items. You know, we just put it in safekeeping at the headquarters, and if you own it, you can come get it. Later on, we found out that the guy from the studio whose house got shot up, which we found out the next day because he was so scared that day, he did not get off the floor.
Hold
His
on.
house got shot up.
Hold on a second, Officer Rollins. I'm sorry. It looks like we've lost Mr. Rogers.
It does look like I wonder, because I know Monday he was having issues with his Wi-Fi. Let me see if I can, yeah, he got disconnected.
Okay. I'm gonna wait for him to log
Right.
back on.